All right, here we are on Behind the Grind with assistant coach Tony Ersland. First of all, what are your thoughts on the season so far?
Well, I think there's been some very good highlights. We've shown flashes of doing some very good things. I think as a staff, we'd probably like to see a little bit more consistency in those things, being able to execute those things on a more regular basis. But I think we have the makings of a very, very good team come March, and we just need to progress from now until March.
Okay. And what's on the horizon this weekend with the Cliff Keen Invitational in Las Vegas?
Cliff Keen's always a very good test of where your team is at early in the year. There's a lot of very good competition from all over the United States, and so I think it's a good test to see where you guys are at against some of the very best. Teams that you're going to see at the national championships, you know, guys you're going to have to beat to be an All-American, to be a national champion. So I look forward to a very good test and seeing where we're at this point.
Okay, and now we have some questions from the fans via Twitter. What are some of the advantages of coaching in the Big Ten, having wrestled in it as well?
Well, maybe there's an advantage. It's just understanding the nature of the league. It's a very tough, very physical league, and so every week you're tested, you know, in some way, you know, and so just understanding that you have to be on top of your game. There has to be that consistency to your performance and to your training habits. Maybe that's an advantage. I think any good competitor understands, though, that it starts with consistency in your workouts and how you compete week to week. So, but I think having been there before, just understanding the nature of the league is important.
Okay. What's going to be this team's biggest obstacle and biggest strength this season?
Well, I think our biggest strength is we have all the tools. We have a hard-working group of guys that want to do well. They're training hard to do well, and they're hungry to win. I think that's a big strength for our kids. I think some of our guys is just, you know, like we said, being consistently at that level. Not just showing you can do it a time or two, but week in, week out, day in and day out, having that consistency in your training habits in the way you compete against other good competition.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on the conference realignments, and what kind of impact do you think it's going to have on Division I wrestling?
That's a very good question. I think it's probably a good thing in the long run that these guys have homes and they're in a conference now where they can compete and qualify for nationals and things like that. So it's probably a good thing. I'm not sure if you look at the landscape of college athletics as a whole, though, with football and basketball and everything else thrown in there, that it's a great thing. It just seems that sometimes it can be a big money grab, and that's what drives the engine. And so I'm not always sure that that's a great thing, but where wrestling is concerned, I think that these guys such as Missouri went in the SEC, now they have a home in the MAC. That's good that they're in a conference with some good quality wrestling, and they can qualify their kids for nationals and have a good schedule. So for wrestling, it's probably a great thing. I'm not sure as much as, you know, across the entire landscape of college athletics.
Okay. And finally, how many different items do you have to winterize each year?
That had to come from Brian. I'll tell you what, the man doesn't have kids or doesn't own a yard tool, so he has no idea what I'm talking about. So I'll just say a couple things, and it's not near to the extent that Brian Snyder thinks it is, and we'll leave it at that.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.